Well, hello and welcome to Audionautic Deep Space Network, episode 183. You caught Curtis at the start of a stretch, but then he kind of stopped because he realized the timer was going. So then he decided to take a drink of beer. So hey, whatever.
We're
But
here.
this is the Independent Musician's Guide to Production and Promotion, and this week we are going to take a true to form first look at the MPC. We've heard in last week's episode, a lot of you were mentioning you wanted us to check it out. So we've got a quick glance at it before the show went live, but we thought we'd just take a look at what's going on with it with you live. Life has been incredibly hectic for both of us, so we apologize. We weren't able to look at it all beforehand, but we have watched some videos. We're going to take a look at it together. And if you have any thoughts on the MPC Live 3, let us know in the chat while we are live or in the comments after. And after that, we're going to talk music releases because have things changed since the last bit of Music Guru information has been given to us, however we want to call it? Are things different? Our friend Curtis here just had a release come out, so we can talk about how that went for him. And I know there's been a lot of releases in our community lately. So if you've got thoughts, that's the best part about being live. Let us know in the chat. With me today, as I've said multiple times, and now he looks sad because I think he finished that beer. He's gonna have to switch to tea, but is Curtis, or you can open another beer. But it's Curtis. What's going on, man?
One beer.
Okay.
That's the limit. But yes, no, I'm good. Busy, man. I think you said it right. It's been a busy kind of time.
Oh yeah.
I've literally come out of doing 14 hours in the theater, jumped on a bus, and here we are. I haven't stopped, haven't eaten, but that's okay. It's fine. Sometimes you got to
eat when you got beer, right?
Exactly.
It's caloric.
Yeah, it's fine. Fill me up tomorrow. It's a good dinner. Let's put it that way.
It's got hops. Whatever.
Exactly, it's good for you.
Yeah.
The Belgians used to drink it instead of water. There's something there.
I think most people or most cultures were drinking wine or low alcohol wine or beer for a long time because the water was right. Isn't that right? From my history classes back in college. This is years ago, but I remember them mentioning that a lot of times the alcohol, because of the alcohol, it would be more clean.
Yeah, which is weird if you think about it, but it's okay. It's fine.
And then now we have coffee. Complete opposite, right?
Yeah.
Last week, I love this. Last week we started the episode talking about video games for a while, and then today we're talking beer and coffee and historical contexts of water usage. I think this one's more boring, but you know what? Hey, if you're in for it, welcome.
We've just kind of slipped into podcast bro territory for a little bit, just talking about whatever comes to mind, and just being okay with it, and that's okay. It's fine.
Yeah,
I live with it. It's cool. It's everything's about TEDx this week. I haven't even touched a synthesizer or a guitar or nothing since Friday, and this is Wednesday. Yeah, even over the weekend, it's mental, but that's okay. Sometimes you got to do stuff like that, right? And you got to stay in the present moment and rig. How are you? What are you up to? Yeah. You've been playing.
Look,
you got lights.
Doesn't it seem a little different?
You've got lights.
No, not lights, man. The freaking Prophet.
Oh, yes. No, you are right. Let me just.
Those listening on Apple and Spotify are like, "What is this dead silence?" I've been rebuilding I took everything apart. Finally, I just had this moment where I was like, I just have to. It was just this mess, and I know it still looks kind of messy, but trust me, I have a bunch of cables wrapped neatly underneath, which used to just be cable hell. But I got the Prophet up. That's the only thing here that's actually able to turn on at the moment. But it works. I was worried it wasn't going to work after I haven't used it in a year or two. It's working. It sounds great. So the plan is this will be at some point soon my sample station or sample station, because no samplers are going to be on it. I'm separating the workflows, right? All of my performance and when I want to sample, it's all going to be readily available. But I have to always choose one sampler to go into that's going to be on this desk. So the samplers won't be connected. It's always going to be like a choice. This way, I have to limit myself from the option paralysis and crazy DAW-less setups and things like that.
That sounds amazing in that sense. It's all, like you say, been ready to go.
Yeah. It's just nice to play the Prophet again, though. That thing, I love that thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a minute. I remember one of the first things that you I mean, one of the first times I came across your work was actually you playing the Prophet. So it's interesting. It's good to have
Coming
that
full
back in the
circle.
world. Yeah, come full circle in that regard.
Yeah.
Apparently, Eon Lake is here, but I don't see him.
He's not here. I think he's in an old one maybe or something.
I'm gonna send him a new
Did the
link.
link
while we're
you
here.
send maybe go to an old one? Because I didn't go
Maybe.
on the link you sent in WhatsApp. I just go to Restream.
Oh, it's the same one. I've just tested the URL. Look at us do back office stuff on air. How professional of us all.
First, we talk water usage in a historical context. And, yeah. Okay, to make it a video game podcast real quick, this morning I was able to play some Oblivion Remastered.
Nice.
It's crazy talking like nostalgia, going back to the Prophet. It's so funny, that game. It's like, it's got this modern sheen to it, right? I don't know if did you play Oblivion? I know you're a big Fallout fan, but
yeah,
I played so much Oblivion on the 360 when it came out. And so it's got this like modern sheen. They've added some updates to the controls and stuff, but it still works and functions because it's the original engine underneath doing all the like actual application, but it is so like just that old school jank. But then you have this modern look and graphical fidelity and stuff. So it's really interesting, the dichotomy there, juxtaposition. Should we bring Ian in? He's in.
Let's see where he's at. Yeah, let's see where he's at. And then we'll talk to the chat. Hey, everyone. We know you're here. Bear with us.
Microphone's working right out the bat. What's up? It worked.
Where did you go? Where were you? When you said you were in, where were you?
Last week's show.
I knew it. That's what I said. I was like, I bet he clicked on it.
Where the hell are these? Johnny come lately.
Yeah. Hey, we've been pretty good about starting somewhat on time. So,
man. I was early as well.
That's okay. How are you, man? What's going on?
Well, I think that gives you a little insight into my mental state right now.
Oh, boy.
Has it been rough?
Don't know what day it is. Don't know what week it is.
You're starting strong. That's all right.
We haven't even entered wibbly wobbly time, and
I know. I'm just warming up for it.
Yeah.
Everyone's getting ready.
That was your stretch for it, getting ready for it. Well, what you been up to?
Not a whole lot, really. Not a whole lot, if I'm honest. Little bits of messing around the KO2, just exploring. But there's not much been moving forward, and I've tried not to freak out about it.
There's no reason to.
Doing stuff happens, stuff doesn't happen. I think I've got a couple of big mixes under the way at the moment that I sometimes get halfway through a mix and I think, this isn't ready yet. So I've got a couple of those that are kind of like difficult tracks in the sense that they get all 3/4 of the way really quick, and then like it's hard to get that last bit done.
Somebody in the chat, it might be Smiling Errors, I forget who, but always says that last 10% is the hardest part.
Stillhead, right?
Is it Stillhead? Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I got the yes.
I've definitely seen it before and agreed with it before.
There you go, yeah. But that's what it reminded me of, yeah.
It's not always a problem, but it happens quite a lot.
Yeah, but I think that's the common thing, right? It's the most kind of finite point, or the most intense point where your idea or your expectation versus the reality are kind of in play, right? Like it's your vision, and that's kind of the part where you're starting to let go almost of what the perfect idea is versus the mix that you've got.
And we're getting close to judgment time.
Yeah, exactly, right. So like that.
And a couple that haven't worked out like I thought they were going to work out, which again, it's not necessarily a problem, but
it's a process.
It does give rise to questioning thoughts.
Yeah, I get that, man. I get that. Well, I'm glad that you are. I'm glad that you are here with us today. It's been nice to have you here. It's. I think we've all had
added a little caption for Eon Lake there, just so we're all
last week.
So we're all on the same page here.
The captions on mine. Why is that?
I went, and if you go to the name over on the right, you can our circles, our little pictures. You can go and change name and title.
You can, or maybe we
see them.
It's probably because me and Sunwap are on the Audionautic account, and we invite you here, and we send you the link. And that doesn't mean anything. Dude. I know that's a mean way of putting it. Sorry, that's a mean way of putting it. I didn't mean it like that. What I meant, I didn't mean.
Know your place, Eon. Wow, Curtis, come on, man.
I meant in the sense that because we send it out to you and we have the Google account that's
I-
linked to this. It
I
makes
would-
sense.
I can
I would
do
think
that.
everybody. Yeah. Did you just change it? You got still, right?
Yeah, but I can't see it on the screen.
Okay, it changed. It did change. Yeah.
It's there.
So
It's
so
definitely
it worked. Perfect.
Yeah. Should we engage with the people and get on with the
what we're
music
here for.
Yeah. we have one reluctant resident NPC user here in the actual video, unless Jan like sold it. But yeah.
No, still there.
Okay.
On the floor.
Had to check.
That's why I said reluctant resident user.
Yeah. Pretty sure I've got the power supply too.
Oh man.
Let's have a look at it, shall we? We people in the chat, we're here. That's what we talked about this week. We will reiterate before getting into it. This is a first look, and I think this might be the most first look that we've ever had. In the sense that, very much a first look, and we're gonna.
We're not reviewing here. We're giving real world
opinions.
real time,
real world reactions.
Real time, real world.
I got sent this by the manufacturer stuff.
Exactly. We're giving the white man's opinion, so let's do it. Okay, what do we reckon?
Well, why don't we actually show what it is and what it does?
I mean,
while you load it up and stuff, I'll say hello to everybody in the chat. We got our patron Abby. What's going on? How are you? Whoa, the chat is different.
Oh,
that's crazy. They've changed a lot of things on the back end here. That's why we're all kind of thrown for a loop here. Jamie is also in the chat. What's going on? Welcome. Smiling Errors says boom. Yep. And Meerkat, I keep wanting to say what is it, Mfizz, but it's Meerkat is here. What's going on? And also Survey Channel, patron Survey Channel. What's going on?
It's nice. We always love we love a heart and a fire emoji all in one, encased in a heart on fire. That is probably awesome. Yeah. All right, let me bring this up so that we can see. Oh, okay. So that's new. Okay.
They've changed some of the they've moved things around here. This I think is
there
what you're looking for.
Better. That's better for the cutting up in post-production. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
So we have the new MPC Live III. We're a bit slow on the uptake. This has been here for a while, but we've been talking about other gear.
Well, we are in the TR1000. I mean, come on.
I mean, come on. Yeah, exactly. That's a it's a real thing. We're getting up to Black Friday. We're getting up to Cyber Monday. We're getting up to Christmas. So the gear is coming thick and full, as they say. So in here in this box, you've got an 8-core processor, which is 4 times the power of the MPC Live II, designed to handle complex mixing, complex sessions. And it's a complete standalone device.
As Meerkat puts it, it's the DAW-less DAW.
It is the DAW.
I mean, pretty much. Look at it.
Love that. I love that.
Let me share that. Sorry, hold on.
Yeah, that's
I don't know how it's gonna. Whoa!
Just cuts him out. Oh man.
There's also There's also this one.
Maybe try that one. And then we'll see what happens. We'll see.
There we go.
That's better. That's better.
Yeah.
We don't want to. Ian Lake is already cut out when we talk about Patreon, so let's keep it there. So apparently, internal battery. Though I don't know how long the battery is going to last on its own. Onboard speakers. Don't know how good the speakers are.
Well, Ian Lake can attest to the speakers on the 2.
Yeah, surprisingly beefy.
And the battery.
And the battery lasted pretty well, I believe.
All right. Now, this is a much more powerful. They've really upped the power on this one.
It's whether or not the battery life is as good on this, if it's, depending on, the fact it's got a faster CPU and so on. In theory, it can use a lot more power, especially if you are doing a lot on it. But
there's also more lights and more things like the pads. Each corner of it can do a different sample and things like that. So there's a lot more to this. I mean, look at all the buttons they've added too. It's crazy.
Yes. More stimulation, basically, for the TikTok generation.
Boy, you are in a dour mood today.
There's 3D sensing, ultra responsive pads, and they track XY movement. So this is what they're saying. Like, for example, on those pads, I think you said you can have 4 samples on those pads. So
that's what I saw. Yeah, there's also the MPCE, as they're calling it, which is like the MPE.
Yes, they can't just have MP.
I forget what it stands for, but that expression where you can pretty cool stuff.
And that's cool, yeah. So the idea is that you can, I just to come back to the pad. So I think the idea is that you can have, I think you said this somewhere, but you can have four psalms on one pad. So in theory, on one pad you could have 4 kicks and essentially
or 4 basses, as you would.
4 basses.
Well, I don't know about that, but you would. That would be the first thing you would test is whether you can do four basses, because I know this thing has MPCs have their built-in plugins and things like that.
Yes,
different synth sounds and stuff like that all sound pretty cool, and they keep adding new ones, and there's a lot there, plug-in effects, all that type of stuff.
Absolutely. So yeah, it can support up to 32 instrument plugins, 16 audio tracks simultaneously, which I believe is a massive upgrade from the 2. With that as well, you've got CV gate, you've got MIDI, you've got Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, USB-C interface, and you can send 24 channels to your DAW.
Over USB or over
USB. Yeah.
Ooh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and there's also Ableton Link in there as well.
Cool.
There's also Pro stem separation, which we're all familiar with stem separation. Whether it's 4 or 6, it's unclear of.
I think it's still 4.
Still 4.
Abby was one of our patrons, Abby, who we is in the chat, or was at least. They did a stem split for us using the MPC. It wasn't the most recent version, but I want to say in the last year we compared it with Logic, the earlier iteration of Logic stem split before it did 6 stems. Now it only did 4. I believe this one's still doing 4. I could be wrong, but yeah, I had posted a poll on my channel, ask if anybody was going to buy either the TR-1000, this one, or the Electron one, and several people were talking about the stem splitting and said it's still pretty similar, but that's just what the comments were saying. That is not. I haven't tried it. Abby, if you've used it, let us know. Maybe we got to do a refresher on the stem split, because now that Logic does 6 stems instead of 4, it's probably worth comparing all the other stem splittings or stem splitters that we have access to. I think FL does it, right?
Yeah, FL does it. Logic. I think we should wait until
Ableton's adding it, right?
Well, 12. Yeah, when 12. I think it's 12.3. It comes out. Yeah, we'll wait. I think once we get 12.3 comes out, we'll do it again.
And Abby just mentioned the later OS 2.x versions. I've not tried 3.0 yet. Yeah, there we go. So we have to check what 3.0, if it's added anything with the stem splitting. But yeah, stem splitting so cool. But having that inside of a sampler, because Koala in theory has stem splitting, but as we've shown when we did the stem split with Koala, it is very ancient in its algorithm, whatever you want to call it. So having this is definitely much better than Koala for sure, at least the old version that Abby split for us. So having that ability in a sampler, let's say you're sampling records and you go, oh, that rhythm sound is awesome, or those drums are awesome, but I don't want all the melodic stuff or whatever. You just stem split it and there you go. Or you can get vocal samples from something, or if you record in using DAW stuff, like DAW-less stuff, I mean, your gear, you can just stem split it.
Absolutely. Let's finish off the specs and then let's go to the chat before.
Whoa, sorry, I hit the wrong button. Apologies.
Okay. No, it's okay. We are all learning more about this.
They've just changed everything in our streaming, so there we go.
It's fine. It's all good. Just finally, yeah, I think it is still 4 because it says vocals, drums, bass, and instruments directly inside. So that's cool. And finally, the price tag for all of this is $1,700. So,
which isn't that bad compared to the TR-1000. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
I mean, okay, that is an analog machine, right? Or at least partial analog machine. This is I hate to say it, but a workstation.
Yeah.
It
is a DAW, basically.
Yeah, it is pretty much a DAW in the form of hardware, which is
aimed at a market, isn't it? This is more an everyman machine.
Yeah, it does sampling, it does synths, you can do sound design on it, it does kind of everything. Yeah,
absolutely. And it's there's a lot there to be played from. I think it kind of stems from the it's an all-in-one holistic box, right? So instead of a computer having the software to make music where you can also check your Facebook and whatever, this is basically a DAW and it's a standalone DAW, which is another interesting way of working, I suppose. It's not one I don't think that, I mean, at least the three of us have kind of stemmed from, but it doesn't mean it's any less valid in that sense.
No? I will say I would really like to try these new MPCs, either the 2 or the 3, because I did want to mention the 2 on Reverb and as used has gone down quite a lot, just by nature that this came out and a lot of people are updating to that. So if you did want to get a cheap one, well, Eon Lake may be interested, so you can email him because he might be willing to sell. It's been sitting on the floor in his house, I guess. So there's that. But it does look really awesome. I've seen some great uses of it and on YouTube and things like that. I will say with this new one that there are a lot of buttons on it.
No, that's a good thing.
You think that's a good? You don't like the touchscreen, huh? Okay.
I don't mind a touchscreen, but I just felt that menu diving on a touchscreen is only slightly better than menu diving on any other screen, right? I like having things to hand, and they've covered that quite well with the layout of the stuff. I mean, for a piece of kit, I just don't really particularly like the old one that is. This has got a lot going for it. I kind of like the form factor. The pads are great. I like the quick
expression and
you get on the right hand side for just changing stuff quickly. The jog dial works really well for selecting stuff. There's loads going for it. I did find I was having to use the shift button a lot to do a lot of things with the buttons. So if
this is on the 2 though, right?
Yeah. So if they're representing some of those commands with a button of its own, that would be a good thing. I certainly felt like it needed a few more. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. I am a knob per function kind of a guy anyway, so I like to have the functionality on the panel. If it's there, it's not a small bit of kit. There's room for buttons.
Yeah, so I get that. I think I was talking more just that I guess, though, to be fair, menu diving on a touchscreen would probably be even more of a learning curve. But all those buttons and stuff take a little bit of getting used to like, oh, here, I need to do this. I go here. But maybe it is actually easier because it's more laid out. Like, do you want to go to this function? Here's the button. Compared to, hit the touch screen, go to this thing, do that. A couple things in the chat before we go to Curtis. Jamie says, the MPC Live 3 resource buff improves the stem separation at desktop quality in standalone. MPC Live 2, you needed to be in controller mode to get that quality. Yeah, I think for the Live 2, you had to be connected to the desktop, right? To do the stem split, at least at like the higher fidelity or something.
Oh, really?
I think, I don't know. Again, I don't have it. You have it. You know what I mean? That's how reluctant he is. Yeah. I love how he's like, oh, really?
Well, I think the biggest hurdle for me with that bit of kit with the Live 2 was the fact that it's learning a new door. It's a door in a box. You think it's like, it's a sampler, it's no joy. It's just, I got a bit frustrated trying to do things. It took too long. I went and did them another way,
Yeah.
I think it's fair.
That's the thing, as it gets more DAW-esque.
With regards to this one, I mean, am I going to have to say it? Is it going to fall to me to say it? Neither of you two going to say it?
You seem to be offering to say it, so go ahead.
Say it.
I don't know what you're even referring to.
It's hideous.
Yeah, all right.
Absolutely hideous. Those colors. What the hell are they thinking?
It's a big box in that.
It started when they redesigned the user interface completely in one of their updates, and it started looking a bit like that now. But it looks like a dress that what's her face wore in Stranger Things or something. It's just mental.
Man, you're harsh. You didn't want to say it, and then you just come out swinging, dude.
So 80s. With my eyes,
wow. I'm curious where they go with the MPC 1. If they're going to do an update, make it MPC 2. but that's the one I want to see because the price on the MPC 1 I think is $5.99 or $7.99, something like that.
I was also thinking about the XY pads. That's very interesting development. I'm kind of interested there. But I must admit, I do think that if you're I would be playing with my left hand and doing XY with my right normally, which would mean can I have an XY on the touch screen instead?
Doesn't it have an XY on the touchscreen?
I'm not sure.
I wonder.
That's what I would want to do. I think it would feel like a two-handed sort of thing.
I feel you. I wonder if it's like
having both would be even better.
See, I'm left-handed, so if I got that, I'd be fine.
Same.
I think we're missing a trick here, because I think that a lot of finger drummers have managed to master the notion of using all 10 fingers at all times when it comes, or 8 fingers and 2 thumbs, at all times. And so they're well in this place. Like, if we're doing like hat kick, all that stuff. But they're all over the place, and they're doing like complete and utter rhythms and complete beats just with their 10 fingers. Can you imagine if you're that adept at finger drumming, to then move into a space where those pads are XY, where they can then essentially have 4 beats.
You can rotate the claws you're using.
Yeah, like that. I think we're
arthritis.
We're coming from a space of not having that as our function, or having that as our main kind of like skill set. But for people who are doing finger drumming in that way, that is going to unlock a lot of potential.
I'm not going to complain about added functionality. That's a good,
especially the expression too. The MPCE, that's huge. I do just want to clarify. Like I was thinking, Eon, like there is an XY on the touch screen.
Yeah, I thought.
And Cresshead said it, and Cresshead also adds XY screen has been around for years on MPC. So way to go, reluctant resident MPC user, Eon. Like, Jamie also says in the chat, the Live 3 is slightly wider than the Live 2. Cases and covers don't fit it if you have the Live 2. So good little just to know. I mean, to be fair, like the SP404SX compared to the SP404 Mark II, the Mark II has 4 additional sample pads. So that doesn't fit whatsoever comparatively. So, it is a completely different piece of hardware. So, but I get that it would be nice if you could just do that. But yeah.
I wonder, not to throw shade, and this is more kind of just a pondering than anything. It says it's an increased amount of power, which is great, and it can hold more. It has a faster sense of. It has got an 8-core.
I think they really upped the RAM.
Yeah, well, this is it.
There's a lot of complaints about the Live 2's power,
but that's this is what I'm wondering about, right? They up the RAM, but generally speaking, plugins have increased in their kind of consumption as well.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, yes, okay, it might be a massive power upgrade, but also, if you're putting Spitfire, which has just been,
I don't know if you can you put third-party plugins in the MPC?
You must be able to.
I'm not sure, but their built-in plugins are made for MPC, so I would assume those, in theory, would be really helped by the added power. Because if they worked on the Live 2 and then they added a bunch of power, at least those ones that were on the Live 2 would be buffed up like crazy.
Good point. I mean, maybe we need some verification there. Maybe I'm jumping the gun.
I love how we have an MPC user here who's like, yeah, it has plugins.
I have to learn this thing now that I've lost the window to sell it is probably gone.
Yeah, you'll get probably far less.
That's right.
I do think the Live 2 looked awesome as well, but the Live 3 looks really cool. I do also want to mention, and again, never had an MPC. I do really I would love to get the 1000 or 2000 at some point for that vintage in quotes, but the 24 tracks over USB, that's huge.
That's cool.
Audio over USB, I'd want to see as many companies do that more often, because that is huge.
Standard compliant interface that does not require drivers.
Yeah, I know you are the frequent mention of drivers. Yes,
absolutely. There's a lot to play around with here, and obviously we're coming from a space of bringing this to you guys without having it at all, or having a great in-depth knowledge of what it's like to be part of this. But it
We
is.
do have an NPC user, but he's of no help.
Yeah. But I mean, you can have an NPC in your house, right? But as they say, putting feathers up your bum does not make you a chicken. And if it has been living under a desk for a while, then
I'm just joking. It's just funny to me that he has it, and he's like, "Oh,
been
it
propping up
does."
my desk for months, just standing there doing nothing.
It's just like a coffee cup holder.
I upgraded it, and I looked at the new interface. I thought, "Ooh,
this is it.
Really look any better."
This is it. It's like it's another DAW, and it's I think a majority of us. I can't speak for, obviously we can't speak for everyone, but at least the three of us here who are live, and many people who are in the chat, we have our thing. Be that Ableton or be that Logic, be that Reason, be that FL, whatever. We have our thing, and we're okay with our thing, and we like if we're going to explore. It's going to be, a new sound design palette, or it's going to be a plugin, or it's going to be, a new reverb.
I'd love to use the MPC though.
I get that.
I really do want to try the Live 3. It looks cool,
Have a go with
and the stem splitting.
I'd like if it turned up on my desk tomorrow, I would have a good old gander and see what's up for sure. Absolutely no qualms about that. I think it'd be a while before any of us could say that we're experts on it, though, at the same point, I suppose.
Oh, yeah, totally. I'm curious to see, like I said before, what they do with, I would assume they're going to update the one as well, the more budget friendly. And that one had a lot more buttons and things like that compared to the Live 2. So I'm curious to see what they do with that. I think they made like a 1 Plus or something. And chat, you can, but I think they slightly updated some of the stuff in that. Again, I try not to keep aware of too much on most gear because I don't want to buy it. So it's like, but I do keep an eye lightly on the MPC because it's kind of adjacent to a lot of the stuff I do for my channel with sampling and all that stuff. So at some point, I really do want to get into the MPC, whether it's the Live 3 or something else, but it does look cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Should we move across the community corner before you have to go somewhere?
Yes, let's do it.
Absolutely. Do you want to kick us off in that fashion?
Yes, this show is brought to you by our patrons who week in and week out help support what we do. And Eon Lake's head is going to get blocked by our Patreon QR code. But if you want to join, just look where Eon Lake is now. And shortly, you'll see a QR code. You can click that. Patrons get additional chats in the Discord, but the Discord is open to all. You're welcome to join. There it is. So there's our QR code if you want to head over to the Patreon. But you get additional channels on the Discord. You get additional hangouts. We do a monthly star stream where we just hang out with our patrons, talk all about gear, whatever sort of things we're working through or working on. It's just a space to talk about all of the things musically that we don't often get to talk about in the real world. But here, everyone knows the struggle and can relate, and we can just kind of talk different workflows, ideas, all sorts of things like that. So yes, if you want, you're just putting every.
There you go.
My God, this is so distracting, dude. If you want to go to join us and help support the show, head to that QR code that's now on the other side. After all of that Curtis was doing while I was talking, yes, there is the Q, and now it's gone anyways. Way to go! It's impermanence. We're practicing impermanence. Curtis always deletes his songs except for the 13 on his album. Just stop. Yes. So we're practicing impermanence here by the Patreon. But yes, that is our Patreon. Curtis, anything you want to add?
Next star stream as it stands is 25th of November. October. Yes. No, you're right. Completely. Sorry. Yeah. Completely. We're not even. Yeah. We're not even there yet.
Dreaming of 1532. I know. Maybe it was in 1532. We had a star stream way back.
But yes, and it's great. It's a great place for us all to catch up and see where we're at. Sample packs come in once a quarter. We have early access to albums. If you are a patron as well, if you are a $7 patron, for example, you would have just got my new album absolutely for nothing. I say nothing. You would have got a code. Nothing. You would have got.
It's not nothing. It's nothing. So there's your little clause.
Exactly. You give us enough money, you can have my album for nothing. So that's how that goes essentially.
But you can also at the $5 tier, you can come on these shows. So if you want to talk whatever gear we're covering or the things we're discussing in the round robin, then there you go.
Absolutely. We had a great chat with Survey Channel last week. That's a really good place to be. Lars comes on quite a lot, which is nice. We had Mike on a few weeks ago. It's a lovely little burgeoning
And I
community.
think Lars just released a new something
did,
as well. Yeah,
and that is cool. Like the idea
lots of new stuff coming out.
Yeah, it's a great time, which kind of takes us onto the round robin, really. But we'll get there first and foremost. Is there anything else in the community corner?
Nope. Starstream. Oh, well, yeah, there is one thing. Yes, there is one other thing. Well, you kind of mentioned it already, but a new album from Curtis is out. So if you want to, on Audionautic Records. So if you want to check it out, we'll put the link in the description. And Eon Lake may have something. I saw the finger raise.
No, it's just
or was it Curtis's album?
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. So check it out. I had a lot of fun mastering this one. I think Curtis had a lot of fun making it, and there's quite the story to it. So at some point we need to do a artist talk to discuss storytelling, but we'll have to figure that one out because I think you're gone the next 2 weeks, right?
I'm gone for 2, so maybe the week that I get back, that first week in November.
There you go.
If people are interested, we can sit down and talk about it.
I will have questions, definitely. I've already got questions, but I've not had a chance to listen to the whole thing. It starts very surprisingly jolly, I thought.
Yeah. It does start
Upbeat at the beginning. This is interesting. But that's the beauty of it. I never know what's coming. I never know. That's what I love about it.
There you go.
Anything can happen.
Keep you in suspense in that regard. Well, I'll give you 2 weeks to kind of marinate in it, and then when I come back, you do a couple of shows while I'm away, and then when I come back, we can have a little bit of a talk about it. There's a lot there. There's 13 tracks. I think it's about an hour and 15 minutes in total. So it's like a stand-up special, you could say.
There you go.
Very good value for money.
You could say that. Thank you for that. That is out. I'm glad to have that done. And if you do listen to it, I hope you enjoy it. We'll talk about it in 2 weeks. That is everything on that side. 13 tracks, Cresthead. It's a lucky number, or we're reclaiming the lucky number. 13 tracks. Cresthead's album also has 13 tracks. It's
all the cool kids are doing it.
Yeah, synergy, right? It's a witchy number. It's got nothing to do with the fact that there was going to be 14 and I just couldn't finish the 14.
Write a couple more tracks.
That's the behind the scenes, but the front facing reason is it's a witchy number.
I released it at 22, right? So excellent. All right. Do you have time to sit on the round robin for a bit somewhat, or do you have to take off?
Let's go to it real quick. I have 4 minutes. Okay. Then I have to bounce.
Okay, I'll introduce it really quick, and then we can just get your take. The round robin for this week is kind of like a community, kind of what I call a collective meditation. A few of us have released recently. Cresthead, Mike, Lars. I think Survey's been putting stuff up, on SoundCloud and then removing it. And obviously, I put an album out yesterday. I think it was yesterday. There's many different ways, and it's been a minute since we've talked about releasing, and we've talked about how we can do it. And a lot of us, since we last talked about it, have stepped out in a way of that Spotify waterfall release where you set it for a month in advance and then you tease it and you do this, that, and everything. And kind of that grind, many of us have kind of stepped away from. But the notions of how is a good way to release and how is an effective way to release remains open. That's kind of what I want to kind of toy and tease collectively today, and how we are seeing our social media presence, particularly when it comes to releases.
Okay. All right. I think that's a good start point. I won't really want to hear from you because of the way you released it, but I know I have to go. So
no, you start, and then you can always watch it back.
Yeah, exactly. I can watch it back. So I can't say too much yet, but I am doing something very different for the next release, and I guess I can get to the sort of the why I want to do something different. I just don't think where we're at in this space, the internet space, the social media, the age of algorithms and stuff, it makes sense if you're doing things that are outside of the norm of the algorithm, right? Like ambient music, which, okay, sure, there is the Spotify stuff, but if you go on Spotify, the stuff that's on there is always the same drone sound. Usually, there's a lot you can do in ambient, but you get this kind of niched down, similar to like YouTube things, version of it. That's because it wants to be similar to match a playlist and stuff. So if you're trying to be outside of that, I don't think following the conventional rules makes much sense, because that's not what they're written for, right? Or that's not what they were designed for. So I think in this time right now, we have access to exposure, right? With social media, with YouTube, with things like that, but they're of course limiting it. So it's figuring out what works for you. How do you want to present your music and build a community around it, or be in communities around it? Like I think with this YouTube channel, our Discord, my YouTube channel, I've taken a much more focused effort to work on community and things like that, rather than just the music per se. But I have been really thinking about it, because there is something I have coming out soon, and I'm doing something very different for it, to announce it, to release it, all sorts of stuff like that. And so this has been sort of how I got to that point, thinking like, well, I don't want to just try and follow these hashtags and try and do this or fit in a playlist or do this. It's just, there's different avenues. Like I needed to think of the why I'm making music, and then the how do I just get that out there? What's the reason? Where do I go with it? So that's what I've landed on, and I'll have more. I hate being like, I can't talk about it right now, but there's a reason, I promise. So I will have more to talk about this in a bit, but I can't say too much at the moment.
That's fair. I mean, that makes sense.
But I will say it's not NFT.
No, good shout. It's probably a good idea. But it makes sense.
It's nothing
right?
like that, yeah.
Building a community and building and being part of a community first and foremost, instead of necessarily just putting your music out into the world and expecting everyone to listen to it, right? Is that essentially what you're saying? In that regard, it makes
to a degree, yeah. But it's also, think about how you don't have to follow the rules of, I'm going to release singles and then I'm going to put it on Spotify and I'm going to playlist pitch and I'm going to do this, and the social media I make is going to be this type of content because that's what works. But it doesn't have to work for you, right? You have to find where and how you want to do it all.
Yeah, completely. And I think that leans into the notions of authenticity, right? Which all of us have in different ways in that regard.
Yeah. All right. Unfortunately, I do have to go, but it's been great hanging out with you. You guys continue. I will watch this back because I want to hear more about both of your thoughts on releases. But it's been great hanging out, and I will see you all next time.
I'll see you tomorrow. Have fun.
Bye.
Ciao. And then there were two. Sunwalker is in 2025 and he stays in our hearts, but he is no longer in the chat, which is okay. So, Eon Lake, do you have any thoughts, any meanderings on this?
Yeah, lots of thoughts. I just don't know what the answers are, really. I think Sunwarper's got a good point in the sense that the attention farming industry doesn't, the algorithms that work for their business model don't work well for what we're trying to do necessarily. I mean, there is a method of getting music out there, but I think it's a combination of the algorithms changing to prioritize certain things, and the fact that maybe the millions of people making and releasing music and saying, listen to my new album, have worn people out to the point where, a musician with a new album is something to be feared and run away from. It's like, oh my God, not another one. So I think a period of adjustment is underway. It certainly is in my head. I'm agreeing with some of what I'm seeing in the chat, in the sense that I kind of do want a product to be maybe I'm a child of the consumer industry too much, but when you make art, it's nice to have a thing at the end of it, and all right, there's a sound, right? But sort of like wave files and MP3s don't necessarily do it for me when it comes to what I've made. I mean, it's fine and practical for like listening to other people's music and so on, but even then, sometimes I like to cherish certain things in a physical form with a nice artwork and whatnot. So I don't know. I'm going to do a little bit of that myself because I like it. It's, in the same way as if you play that disky thing with the music on it, you hear what I like, you'll see what I like on the front of it as well. It's all just what I would want, and that's okay. That's okay. The question really is how do you promote it? How do you let people know about it? And I don't know that all the answers are in there. I think I will just try and not get on anyone's nerves too much. Brief. If there are going to be videos or shots or anything or things getting sent out, it's going to be quick, not too demanding, and link directly to something meaningful, and people can take it or leave it.
That makes sense.
But not that sort of jumping up in front of your face, begging for attention, and acting like you're the, that main character energy. My album, yeah. Yeah, there aren't many answers, I don't think, at the moment. I think, it takes a while for these things to shift and coalesce and move in another direction. Personally, I think the answer for people like us is, and I know I've said it before, but creating a scene of your own, I suppose that's the beauty of being underground, is that, you can create a small scene quite easily. It's the big ones that are harder to do. And we're not going to plan a festival anytime soon, but it's easy to get little things if you bunch together as well. If you have a lot of people near in your region that are doing similar things, it makes sense.
Absolutely. I think again, it's what Petite Victory Collective are really good at, I think. Where they've got a bunch of like-minded people based in Copenhagen, and everyone just kind of comes together. They support each other. They run their community like a cooperative. Everyone's got a responsibility in a voluntary role, and everyone kind of believes in a vision, and that comes first and foremost, and kind of not supersedes, but the release is part of that community, as opposed to an individual doing a release and shouting about it in the community, which is a really interesting place to be. The notions of authenticity in that regard, I think the reason that there's no kind of answer is because everyone's so different, right? And what works for one person is completely works for another. And I think for so long, at least since I've been doing this, so what, 2018, 2017? Yeah, 2017. We've always been instructed by gurus or by internet talking heads about, what should happen and how we should be releasing and what the best way to get our clicks are. And it's
best way for them, that is.
Yeah, and that's and I'm sure that comes from good intention.
Are you?
I have to believe in the honesty of the human being.
Okay.
It's especially in a time in the world right now. You have to believe in good intention. Anyway, I digress. The cheating the system or relying on vanity metrics has just been such a thing that has been that's not worked for some of us for a long time, and it's but there's no real answers. It's all still in that phase of well, this is kind of naff. Similarly with like Spotify, this is kind of naff. We've identified the problem, but the solution hasn't really materialized and still working on it. But I must say, I mean, I think there's something to be said in I want to get to some of the chat because some of the Cresshead's coming up with some really interesting things, and I want to engage with the chat. But I do think that I think I've found a lot. I'm not saying it's a final form, so to speak, but I think I've found a lot of solace in firstly owning a release and not giving into the pressures of a release program, but also not putting too much emphasis on a release. If that makes sense. I hit go on Bandcamp last night, and it went out into the world. And then I closed my laptop and I went to bed. And I haven't done anything in terms of I haven't made any social media posts. This is the first time I'm kind of talking about it on air. And in a way, I suppose that's kind of broadcasting it. But I mean, it's also part of a show that we're talking about where it's all focused on the community. And I'm probably going to be talking about it in 6 months. I'm proud of the work, but I'm also not like, oh, it's release day,
Yeah.
And that's given me a lot of power. I think it's given me a lot of kind of like notions of, okay, I can do anything. I don't want to create an AI video, for example. I tried making some stock video from Internet Archive, and I was just like, it's been done, And so it's kind of like it's there, and just now it's out. I can do some promo, and if I'm not playlisting and I'm not putting anything on things that are like time dependent, so I'll talk about it when I feel like I want to talk about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's funny, when I started doing this album, I had all these ideas about what I was going to do. I thought, I'll do it myself. I'm going to do it this way. I will, I had all sorts of plans, even some marketing plans and whatnot. And my attitude now is really quite different to where I was when I started. Things have changed a lot, not least of which me.
And that's okay.
My attitude to all of it. But I do love the freedom in not putting it on all the streaming platforms and having to faff around with all of that, and just literally you create art. If it's a physical product, you do that, or you just put it up on Bandcamp, and it's so it's just nice and straightforward, and it makes you want to just go and do more. Whereas all that other ancillary effort makes you want to jack it all in.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that again,
counterproductive from that point of view.
Well, again, yeah,
want to stop.
I think totally, because I think ultimately that's fitting yourself into another box, right? And I think that's an externalization in its own right, which is completely understandable. But it's also like you're basing things based off things that you've seen in the external world, and then because it doesn't fit your ethos necessarily, you kind of shy away from it. Let me bring up some chats because I wanted to kind of illustrate a point. Cress said is talking about connection, right? And the stuff here, it says real stuff adds a connection in inverted commas. You don't get it with just a download to a phone. It's not for everyone though, which is fair, right? The idea of having, I agree with you. I think the notion of having something physical to represent a finished artwork, be it that of vinyl, a CD, floppy disk, or mini disc, or whatever, is a really, really cool idea. But I think there's a way of going about it in that regard. Like, okay, so I don't know if you can see maybe here. Yeah, if I do that, this little black thing here, it's a blob, right? But it's there. That's a printer, right? That's my dad's old printer. My dad was like, I got a new printer. I don't know what to do with the old one. I was like, Dad, I'll take that from you.
Yeah, I do.
So give it here. And I haven't had a chance yet, but the idea is to start printing CDs and doing it on my own. And then, once I got my hat under that, the idea would be to make a CD that's mine. And it's probably going to be a little bit rough, and it's probably going to be a little bit off. It might not be a perfect circle. A sticker might not be on fully. It might be a little bit faded in certain parts. Who knows? Haven't tried it yet. But it's not me sending off stuff to Kunaki, which there's nothing wrong with. But I also want to own the means of production. I think that's starting to become really important to me. Owning the means of production. To borrow Survey Channel said it a few weeks ago, and I think so. It can wait. I'm not in a rush. You know what I mean? It's like doing it on your terms and doing it what makes you feel whole within.
Yeah. I think it's all part of your attitude to what you do. So, if you're doing something that you don't agree with fundamentally, then over time that's going to make things difficult, really, isn't it?
This resentment's going to build for your own work. That's not good. Do you, when you're talking about like marketing strategies and stuff and how to kind of like put it out, I mean, what were these ideas that you had at the beginning of the album which have like no longer come to play?
Well, I don't know. They just, I haven't necessarily abandoned them, but they're not occupying the same amount of space in my mind, where it's like, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that. That was kind of the mantra back in the day with the Spotify grind, and you got to keep releasing, and you got to, we were told a lot, all the things that we've got to do. And, yeah, the reality turned out to be quite different. And, yeah, now you have to decide for yourself what you've got to do and what actually has value in it.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, just looking at these things again, thinking, does that work for me? I don't know. I really don't know. All I know is I'm going to keep making the music. I will release it in some form. And, yeah, try not to be, what about it is kind of important.
Yeah, that makes sense. You got to do what's best for you, right? I think that comes from a state of humbleness as well. Again, Cresshead says here, I'm never going to buy a speedboat from the sales of my album, but he just wants something available, and having a merch tab and having things out. And I think again, releasing has part of it, this notion of success and this notion of kind of growth. And we create expectations when we get to that stage, and from that, you are almost, without being mean, without trying to sound mean, you're kind of setting yourself up for disaster in that regard, because you're putting it out, and it's in reality whether or not you have a successful album release is up to you. It's not necessarily pitted on how many buys or how many streams or however. It's just you did something that's awesome. Not everyone does or gets to do things.
It's very easy to stand on the sidelines and judge and say, where are your Grammys? If you don't have any Grammys, you're worthless. If you don't have millions of streams, you're worthless.
What's the point?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we decide our own value, don't we?
We do. Yeah. It would be cool to hear if people watching back or watching live, what if they've got any ideas about their releases, where they're at, how they are marketing themselves, in what way. Our Discord is a really good place to do. Sorry.
And how that's changed over time.
And how that has changed over time. Exactly. It'd be lovely to see. Yeah, please let us know. It'd be really good to get some of these ideas through. And I'm sure Steve would have a thing or two to say as well, mainly about where it's coming from. But with that, we shall sidle on over to the outro of this week, and just very, very cleanly and very politely say, what's up and what are you doing this week, Eon?
Well, what am I doing? I think it's going to be another one of those weeks that I don't have a huge amount of time. But yeah, I've got a couple of large songs to kind of try and finish, which I'm going to have a go at. And if I'm not, I'm going to shelve for a little bit, give them a little more calendar time to mature. I've got an experiment set up as well with my lyra, making some absolutely horrific bestial noises, and I've got some ideas of what I can do with that as well. I've been messing around with the modulation on it a lot, with it getting all 8 oscillators to modulate each other, and it just howls and feeds back something terrible. And I've got some ideas for that. So Yeah, I'm going to try and keep that playful element going, and whilst trying to make progress on some songs that have become unwieldy, shall we say, that need a good bit of editing, but sometimes you just need that way in, and then you can get the job done. But at the moment, they're just like huge blocks that need carving into something a bit more sleek.
That's fair enough. I like that, the idea of gaining inspiration on the other hand, and then using that to kind of tailor the unwieldy tracks that you've got. That sounds like quite a nice balanced kind of intake.
Because at the moment, I mean, they sound great, but I mean, they're just too cumbersome. Yeah,
that's okay. I get that. That makes sense.
What about you? What are you up to this week?
I'm still on TEDx. It's TEDx week, so I'm not. I won't be doing. I don't think I'll be doing much. I'm off for the next 2 weeks, right? So I'm kind of like, I'm saying to myself, let's just keep Ableton over there for a little bit. Apart from teaching, obviously, but I don't want to rush into anything. As I said to you, I think as I mentioned last week, in the process of producing this album, I've written another one, and
That's really good. But how do people do that?
I don't want to go back in. I'm not ready to put that hat back on yet. I've just finished that, and so I just kind of want to mess around for a bit. I want to play some video games, and I want to play more with this Tascam 12 as a mixer as opposed to as an interface, and just do some DAWless stuff, and mess around with some samples. And I've got a noise. I'm following Lars. I've got a noise station kind of growing over here, where it's just like noise.
What makes it a noise station exactly?
I'm not allowed to put anything with a tone into it, right? I'm not allowed to. I'm not allowed to put anything that has a remote notion of a harmonic frequency. It's got to be It's got to be some sort of feedback or static or something. And then however I make that goes into the SP, which I then kind of just discombobulate further, shall we say?
Wow! All right.
Yeah. So, speaking of which, I've still got a noise album to finish, and according to
was it Chris said? Yeah.
Well, it was Smile and Errors. Apparently, I forgot. I've got a metal album to write as well. So, like,
wow,
there's a lot to do.
Got your work cut out.
Exactly. But first, then there's all that, and then what I did was I went and go put a load of video games on this, and that's what I'm kind of at right now. So we'll get there. I've just finished a Transdimensional Passage, and I think for now that's okay. I can't bear to listen to it myself right now.
Really?
I've just listened to it too much. It's just one of those where you just listen to it too much. So when the time comes where I think I can start listening to it again, then I'll be like, oh, okay, let's make something new. Let's go with that. He says, thinking that all that, and just realized that on Sunday he agreed to do a remix of Chasing Cars as a challenge with a mate. We'll see.
Really? Wow. Challenging.
So we'll see. So yeah, that's where we're at. So yeah, I think that's everything for now. Well, you guys are going to be back next week. I don't know what you're going to be talking about, but we'll find out, I suppose. We'll find out.
Look at me.
Yeah, we'll find. Hopefully the docket will fill up. But yeah, I'm off for 2 weeks, so I'll be back on the 6th of November. You'll be here next week, I assume.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to miss you. I hope you have a great.
Likewise, yeah.
And to everyone else, thank you ever so much for still being here. It's lovely. And yeah, we'll be back next week. I'm going to end the stream, so this is your kind of like 10-second warning. Yeah, head to the Discord and see where everyone's at. It's a great community. Thank you ever so much. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.